Hey guys, it's Nick from 10 Top 5, and today we'll be taking a look at the best used cars for under 30 grand. Now, this list is not about reliability, it will just be taking a look at the nicest cars based on my opinion. So coming in at number 10 is the 2009 Mercedes-Benz GL550. You can pick up a fully loaded 2009 GL550 for just under 30 grand, which is amazing considering that the car is 93 grand when fully loaded as new. The car has an elegant interior and a professional exterior. The two together make this car perfect for either driving or getting driven in. The interior has a solid build quality with real wood, metals, and leather, though it is aged quite poorly over the last 7 years, but it's still a nice interior. The engine is a 5.5 liter V8 making only 382 horsepower, which is nothing to write home about, but it's definitely good enough for getting around town and getting up to speed effortlessly. The car certainly isn't about fuel efficiency, as it gets 13 in the city and 17 on the highway. That's pretty good for a large SUV. The car is definitely a great choice if you need a nice SUV for under 30 grand. Coming in at number 9 is the 2014 Toyota Avalon. After only 2 years, you can get a fully loaded 2014 Avalon for nearly 15 grand less than the sticker price, even though it's the exact same car as the 2016. The car has a nice interior with premium perforated leather seats and wood and metal trim on the dash. The car is the newest car on the list, which means it's by far the most reliable and will last much longer than other cars on the list. The exterior looks nothing like the other Avalons. With its giant grille and coupe-like roofline, the car gets 21 in the city and 31 on the highway. The 3.5 liter V6 gets the car 268 horsepower to the front wheels, which isn't going to make the car very fast, but it'll definitely feel pretty quick. The car is a great choice to those who want a reliable, luxurious modern sedan for around 25 grand. Coming in at number 8 is the BMW 750 Li. It's incredible how cheap these top-of-the-line luxury sedans are after only 7 years, considering brand new that it's over $100,000. For under 30 grand though, you get a fully loaded 7 Series, which gets you an incredible interior, a 4.4 liter V8 making 400 horsepower, and an immediately recognizable exterior that will immediately scream elegance. The interior is flooded with real wood, real metal, and leather, making it look incredibly expensive. The dash has the iconic BMW radio and climate controls. The front and rear seats are fully electrically adjustable, heated and cooled for both front and rear seats, and for the rear seats there are many desks that come out of the front seat, making the experience like first-class flight. The 4.4 liter V8 will make the car get 14 miles per gallon in the city and 22 on the highway, which is acceptable for a car this size and the amount of power. I had a hard time deciding between this car and the next 3 cars for their positions, so I'll say that they're all tied depending on what you like. They can all be in each other's positions. Coming in at number 7 is the 2009 Lexus LS 460L. This car can get up to 90 grand fully loaded when brand new, but if you go back 7 years, you get the sweet spot of reliability and price. So for under 30 grand, you get a fully loaded LS 460. Now, since this is a Lexus, it's the most reliable out of the luxury sedan brands, Mercedes, BMW, Audi. But this list is not about long-term reliability, it's about the amount of car you can get for the money. The interior is as elegant as all of its competitors, with perforated, heated, and cooled front and rear seats, which are all electrically adjustable. The rear seats have tons of leg space without having to compromise any trunk space if you go for the normal rear seat package. The interior is made up with completely soft touch materials like the competitors, but its infotainment system is made with a lot of silver plastic, but it does look fairly aesthetically pleasing and it feels solid. This car isn't flashy like the S-Class or the 7 Series, but at the same time still elegant. The car has the lowest amount of power for the class, but it's okay because this car isn't a sports car at all. Coming in at number 6 is the 2009 Mercedes-Benz S600, again with that 2009 sweet spot of reliability and price. You can get this car for way under 30 grand, as low as the low 20s, which is absurd as this car starts at $131,000, and if you want to get the S600 with the V12, you're looking at a ridiculous 170 grand. And to think that the car loses 140 grand in value in 7 years is mind-blowing. The interior of the S-Class The interior is classic S-Class with lots of wood and other premium materials and a mostly horizontal dash design like the 7 Series and other German luxury cars. But unlike the Lexus LS, the rear seats are just like the 7 Series and Lexus LS, lots of controls, heat, air conditioning, and rear infotainment systems with the perforated front and rear seats for the AC to blow through. The car is, in my opinion, the nicest looking of the sedans, especially with the long wheelbase. From its Mercedes badge on the hood to the taillights, this car looks like a $200,000 car, and it pretty much is. The 5.5 liter V12 produces 510 horsepower, 612 pound-feet of torque, which is class leading by a lot, so this car will definitely go fast. Its fuel efficiency or lack thereof is class leading, getting only 11 in the city and 17 on the highway, which is almost as bad as the Hummer H2. This car is incredible for only 30 grand, but you won't find a fully loaded one at this price. You might be looking at around 30 to 40 grand, fully loaded. Coming in at number 5 is the 2009 Audi A8L W12. This car is closely related with the Volkswagen Phaeton as it shares the same wheelbase and engine. The 6-liter W12 making 450 horsepower and 428 pound-feet of torque, which is a lot less than the Mercedes V12 and the S600, but it's still more than the LS and the 7 Series by a pretty good amount, so it's still an impressive figure. The car smokes 1 gallon of gas in 13 miles in the city and 17 on the highway, which is pretty decent considering it's a 12-cylinder. The car has an amazing interior, somewhat reminiscent of the BMW, but still different enough to be recognizable. The interior is just like the others, real wood, real metals, real leather, with perforated, heated, and cool, and electrically adjustable front and rear seats, with a lot of legroom and a lot of comfort for the passengers. This car is a lot like the Lexus, as it is not flashy like the Mercedes and the BMW, but it's still elegant and people will take you seriously with this car. Coming in at number 4 is the 2010 Corvette. This is not the Z06 or the Z01, just the normal Corvette. You could get this fully loaded with just the stock engine. The stock engine is still a 6.2 liter V8 making 430 horsepower to the rear wheels, which is nothing to laugh at. This car gets to 60 in 4 seconds flat. The interior is not what Corvettes are about. With hard plastics, cheap materials everywhere, the C6 Corvette was not impressive inside the car. But it has the iconic Corvette look on the exterior, which is what most Corvette buyers want. The car is definitely a solid buy for 30 grand if you want a fast sports car, as a Corvette is usually the cheapest way to get into a real sports car. Coming in at number 3 is the 2010 BMW M5. You could get this car fully loaded for under 30 grand, along with its 500 horsepower 5-liter V10. This car is a lot of enthusiasts' favorite car, as it looks like a normal M5, but it has 500 horsepower. Top 10 sleepers part 2. This car has a super nice interior, just like the 5 Series, but instead of wood, it has carbon fiber, firmer seats, and a nicer steering wheel. This car has a tight suspension, extra stability using roll bars, and harder metal when possible. This car is a really good deal for 30 grand right now, as you can get the Camry for the same price. When this car is new, it costs 100 grand, which is absurd, as it's only 6 years old and it costs 30 grand, so this car is a steal. Coming in at number 2 is a fully loaded 2011 Escalade Platinum, not the SV. Now, honestly, who hasn't wanted to own an Escalade, especially a Platinum? When you have an Escalade, you're immediately noticed. People turn heads at you at your massive shiny SUV. In the back, 1 on each headrest for the person behind it and 2 roof-mounted TVs. You can have more movies playing in the car than can fit in the back seats. With this 6.2 liter V8 that comes in the Corvette, the Escalade has 400 horsepower to the rear or all wheels depending on what you get, which will definitely make this thing move. This car has an awesome choice if you're looking at a new minivan for your family or possibly a low-end crossover. The 2011 Escalade is definitely worth taking a look at. This thing's interior is incredible, with 2 captain's chairs in the second row and a normal third row seat, all made with leather and wood trim on all the doors, and like 6 different TVs. And finally, coming in at number 1 is the fully loaded 2003 Dodge Viper. Now, there really isn't any difference between a fully loaded or a base Viper, so I'm sure if you look hard enough you can find a 2004, but there really isn't a difference between those 2 models either. But now, a Viper is a Viper. That's all I really should have to say about this car, but I'll have to elaborate it more as to why it's number 1. This car has an 8.3 liter V10 that makes 500 horsepower and 525 pound-feet of torque, which is insane for a tiny car like this, weighing only 3,300 pounds, which is pretty heavy, but I mean, still, it's pretty light. Everyone knows that this car is not for daily driving, as it has a super stiff suspension, almost no room in it, and a super low roofline that'll make it awful to drive to work. But in terms of driving it around on the weekends or taking it to drag strips, this car is amazing and will definitely make you feel like you're special. Thanks for watching our video. Like and subscribe if you want more content like this. Let us know if I missed any of your favorite cards under 30 grand in the comments below. Next week we will put a video out on the top 10 best new cards for under 30 grand.